Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning all to all my examiner. My name is Syahdatun Nazira binti Kaharudin. My metric number is 191673. My supervisor name is Dr. Puan Chong Leong. Today I would like to present my project FHS4999B entitled Comparing Stress Level in Diurnal and Nocturnal Birds in Air Hitam Forest Reserve Selangor. So, okay, this is my overview. Okay, for my introduction, stress is collective terms that is used to refer the conditions organisms are experienced under the unexpected, uncontrollable environment, and it's often followed by physiological response. In bird species, most studies on short-term stress reaction have been performed by testing corticosteroid reaction to certain stress of leukocyte coping capacity (LCC) by measuring the heterotrophin and lymphocyte of bird, and can also be used to evaluate short-term stress in birds. So my literature review. It's about red blood cell and white blood cell, and also how the stress level, how to calculate the stress level of birds. So for the problem statement, various human activity in tropical forests have shown to affected birds in different way. Different animals may have different responses to stress caused by disturbance that occur in their habitat. So this is my significance of study. This study is important to know the impact of human activity to birds in forest reserve air hitam. And from this study, we can protect birds' habitat area if human activity adversely affect birds. My objective for this study to assess stress level of diurnal and nocturnal bird in air hitam forest reserve Selangor, and to examine the stress level of birds of different species. So this is my study area, CISPEC, Air Hitam Forest Reserve, Puchong. And then this is my study design. My research methodology, 10 sampling point, 1 mist netting per 1 point sampling, 1 mist net, 9 meter length and 3 meter height, and mist net were installed along the main road with distance 3 meter from the forest each. Distance between point is 100 meter apart. For my bird sampling, I'm install the mist net for 4 days each transect point. I'm taking for the sampling hour. I'm taking from 7 a.m. until 11 a.m. for the diurnal birds and 8 p.m. until 12 a.m. for the nocturnal birds. I'm checking the mist net every 30 minutes, and we identify the species, taking the blood sample of every species. We measuring and weighting of bird capture. So this is how we do the blood smears. Blood sample were collected during the field work using shrink and blood we produce directly in field. So we dried the slide. We air dried the slide. Slide was soaked in a methanol for 1 minute. After that, we do this in a laboratory. We soak the slide in the mare granule and gimsa, and then we examine under the microscope. So after we get the picture from the microscope, this is how we calculate the cell, red blood cell and white blood cell. Okay, so we're taking 10 field of picture of one slide of blood smears, and then we calculate the red blood cell and white blood cell, and then we get the result. So we use for the data analysis, we use the Mann, Whitney, and Kruskal-Wallis test. The Mann-Whitney test were used to analyze two groups, and the Kruskal-Wallis to analyze two or more groups from the same distribution. So the result and discussion. For the diurnal birds, we got 12 individual with 8 species. And then for the nocturnal bird, we got 2 individual and 1 species. So this is the picture from, this is my picture from the microscope. So this is Sundascope all blood smears. So as you can see here, this is the red blood cell, and then this is the white blood cell. Okay, this is the number of white and red blood cell counted for the diurnal and nocturnal birds. As you can see here, the red blood cell is more higher than white blood cell for the diurnal birds, and for the nocturnal birds, for the Sundascope all one, the white blood cell is higher than, yeah, white blood cell is higher than white blood cell, and another one is red blood cell is higher than white blood cell. Okay, for the Mann-Whitney rank, so as you can see here, the diurnal birds mean rank for the red blood cell is 7.92, and then the white blood cell is 7.950, is higher than the white blood cell. And for the nocturnal bird is 5.000, and for the white blood cell 7.50, means the white blood cell or the cell of the nocturnal bird is more higher than the red blood cell. Okay, so the same across the category of species. The Kruskal-Wallis test show that the difference in red blood cell between the species test below 0.05 was not significant. Their null hypothesis was maintained. So the Kruskal-Wallis test for the white blood cell, it's also non-significant and null hypothesis. So this is hypothesis test summary. 0.361 and 1.000, which means it's not significant. So this is the family. So this is the difference of family birds of white blood cell and red blood cell. As you can see here, the red blood cell is more higher than the white blood cell. Okay, the Kruskal-Wallis test show that the difference in red blood cell between the family tests, it's also below 0.0, and it's not significant. Same goes to white blood cell. Okay, this is dietary of bird classification. So as you can see here, the result show that significant difference in white blood cell and red blood cell between the different birds family and feeding guide. So the indicates of the number, the indicates of the number of red blood cell and white cell was the highest for the insectivore, and followed by nectarivore, frugivore, nectarivore, and fiscivore. So the result supported that the red blood cell number are linked to feeding guide, and birds that are actively searching for food have higher number of the red blood cell. So my conclusion from this study is, from this research, we found that there was no sign of stress in bird found in the air hitam forest reserve, as the number of white blood cell remained low while the number of red blood cell remained high in all birds, which means the birds is active. So the number of red blood cell was higher in diurnal birds than the nocturnal birds. The number of red and white blood cell was higher in insectivore, followed by frugivore, nectarivore, and piscivore. The number of red blood cells can be related to behavior, including whether they are nocturnal or diurnal, as well as which feeding guide that they belong to. So this is my recommendation for this study, that I think we have time given to collect data needs to be extended. So this is my reference for my studies. Okay, I'm looking forward question from my examiner for the next session. Thank you so much.